Welcome to episode 157 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Sunday, late afternoon. Myself, Drew Skyberg, bringing you the news in the Wisconsin sports world. And first, if you're watching the video stream, welcome. Shout out the Milwaukee Brewers. Look what they sent me in the mail here this past week. Oh, wrong way. There it is. Look up there. Drew Skyberg. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm going to display that in the background moving forward. I think it's cool. And again, shout them out for sending me cool stuff. Always, you love to see it. Love to be a supporter of the team, and just being rewarded. It's just cool to see things like that. I still got Fear of the Deer. I had to get those though. They didn't send me those. I think I got the penny from the box, but nonetheless, no complaints. We got the Brewer flag over here, right? The usual Wisconsin sports. Packers aren't really in season. But we'll run through. I'm going to briefly start with Packers here. We'll go to Bucks. They're just wrapping up, getting that win against the Clippers. I believe the game's final. I was watching a little bit before going live here, and they were closing it. Dame was closing it. The GOAT had another big game. He's player of the week for me because he played all games this week. Thankfully, Giannis is all good after just the Achilles, having some issues with that. But we'll go through there, how they're doing. And Brewers will touch on spring training a little bit. There's two reports that came out in the last hour with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel I want to highlight. So report one, actually, hold on. Let's go through announcements, then we'll get to those reports, right? At Drew Sports Crew, Instagram, TikTok, Drew Sports Crew on YouTube and Facebook. Looking if you want to see, right, I'm doing a post a day, been doing that for a while now. If you want to check out some content regarding Wisconsin sports, highly recommend you check out the page. Just going through whether it's rankings for Wisconsin sports, schedule previews, team/player of the week, things like that. I love to highlight. So again, I would appreciate if you check those out, give it a follow, and make sure to subscribe and like on YouTube as well. Otherwise, right, I have fantasy baseball starting up. We have a league, a 10-team league. If you're interested in that, feel free to reach out. Also, March Madness is here. It's coming here very soon. I have a $10 pool. 100% of the pool is paid out. All pros, everything's paid out. Like everything's put in is paid out. So that's really cool. I recommend you check that out. Just I have information on the page. Just message me on @True Sports Crew on Instagram or anywhere for more information. I can get you connected to that. We usually have 30 to 40 people, so it's usually a pretty big pool, which is also cool to see. So that fantasy baseball. This week's scheduling, Wednesday, it's going to be for Journey to Billion. It's going to be fun because the NFL offseason's picking up. We just had Baker Mayfield sign. There's some other signings going around. We saw Chris Jones get a big extension. The point is, Zach Roush and myself have a lot of good things to talk about. Jared's on spring break. He won't be able to join us this week. We'll be coming your way late night edition of Journey to a Million, probably around 9 p.m. or so. We'll be bringing you an episode of Journey to a Million. It'll be fun. It'll be talking through the signings, what's going on with the Packers. I'll talk a little bit about that here. And then furthermore, we're going to play some Immaculate Grids, the classic, a staple, I would say. So that's the schedule this week. You're hearing right now episode 157 already of Drew Sports Crew. So that's the plan. Let's go through that report. So the Journal Sentinel had two reports come out. I think within like the last hour, I saw it on X, not Twitter, X. Report one, Devondre Campbell will be cut. I don't know what the validity is of this. Is it actually happening? It came out. It was like Tom. Well, the report came from, I guess it was Tom Silverstein, I believe is the guy's name. Or I think that's his name. Yeah, for the Journal Sentinel. He's a Packers beat reporter. He posted something about Devondre Campbell being cut. I don't know, and some media outlets took it as this guy was cut. Some people took it as this guy probably will be cut because of the cap savings. So there's no definitive thing going on right now. I don't know if he's going to be cut. I think. Oh, I'm seeing that he might have just got cut actually. So maybe there actually is validity to it. Maybe it's true. Yeah, I think he did get cut. Yep. Designated a post June 1st release by Green Bay. Okay, so it's official. He got cut. Hey, I love when stuff happens live. I wasn't sure. It was kind of just up in the air right now, but yeah, he did get cut. Kind of shocked. Down the road, there is cap savings, so I'm thinking that's kind of what people were accounting for. But up front, there's a couple million cap savings this year. He was a candidate to get cut. You like it or not, I don't. Yeah, he's 30. I don't think they should have signed him to that extension. Again, hindsight's 2020. We know you don't really extend linebackers that are. We just like this was felt like a Blake Martinez um repeat. And not that Packers didn't sign him to the extension, but Blake Martinez got the extension from or not extension. He got a big signing from the Giants and it did not work out. He was cut like after 2 years. Campbell had that big year, got rewarded with this extension. This extension did have that potential out, and they were able to get out of it. I don't know. This is just the classic not working out with, but it was a 5-year, 50 million, and there's an out up front, so it wasn't a huge deal. Just a note, and again, hindsight's 2020, but just didn't think it was the right move for this squad. At the time as they draft Walker. I think this team's going to draft a linebacker again. I think this almost guarantees it with one of those early draft picks. We're going to see a linebacker get drafted. But yeah, they had to make a move, and Campbell was the guy who got outed. Unfortunate, but also we wish him the best. Maybe he comes back on some other deal, a small deal. I don't know. I don't know what his future entails, but thinking he might get a signing somewhere. But just end of the year, the pass coverage I think with Campbell was what we saw go first. Just definitely not the same player he was a couple years ago. So unfortunate. We wish him the best, but just news came out today and confirmed here today. We also had the Journal Sentinel come out with a report involving Devin Williams. He's going to receive a second opinion on his back. He's having some back issues. Opening day status sounds questionable. Seemed the Brewers weren't too worried about it from what I've read and other, just like generally directly from the team. Not too worried about it. I think he'll be fine. I don't know how much we'll see him in spring. He might be done for spring, is what we might see now. So those were the two Wisconsin like big news stories that came up. Not to just keep going like place to place and not like with any flow. I would like to talk though first about the Packers, which we did. Wednesday is really when like the free agency stuff more of it opens. We will see. We already saw a cut that we thought would happen or release. It's a post June 1st release, so they designated it now. We think we're going to see it for Bakhtiari. Again, it's over 20 million in cap savings, roughly 21 million. We're going to see him probably get released as well. So both those guys will be gone. Aaron Jones, we'll see some sort of restructuring, I imagine. Unlikely we see AJ Dillon come back. We just saw the rival Chicago Bears make a move for a safety, Kevin Byard. I envision the safety market we're seeing right now is so plentiful of guys who are formerly all pro. Justin Simmons is one of them who's still available. But there's other guys too that may have a fit with this squad. I envision the Packers might take a shot at a vet safety, kind of like what they did with Adrian Amos for a couple of years. I envision we will see something like that to replace Darnell Savage. I don't think he will be returning with the squad. But they're gonna have to sign. They're gonna have to do something there at safety. So that's what we'll see. I don't know about corner. How we'll see that go down. That'll probably be a draft kind of thing. But just want to highlight those things. I mean, there's not really too much going on with this squad other than that. So there you go. There's your news. Devondre Campbell post release or. He's designated as a post June 1st release is what it's called. He did get released. That was a questionable one. People thought he was going to probably stay, probably not. There's some talk. It was a toss up, but it is official. So there you go. Let's go over to the Milwaukee Bucks. Talk about how this past week went for the squad. And again, the final did come in 124-117 today. Right as I go live, I was trying to time it out when I scheduled it. It worked out. So the Clippers lose 2 games to the Bucks in a span of 1 week. Go Bucks. We love to see it. The Bucks moved to 42-23 after a 2-2 week. If you recall what I said the Bucks would prefer a 3-1 trip. And 4-0, they would be kind of disappointed with a 2-2 trip. And so far, I'm right. I mean, I'll say that. I got that right. I did not get the games right that they would win. I thought they would lose today because I thought Paul George and Kawhi Leonard would play. Both did get ruled out. Clippers still did give the Bucks a fight. Give them credit on that. Look, this week I think it was started with an up and then it was down, down, up. That would be a good way to describe it. I think Wednesday was definitely the low point. Man, that game was tough. They hung in there, end of 3. They were down single digits. They're down 9, I believe, and then they lose by 35 points. They get dismantled in the fourth quarter. Steph Curry and company took care of business. Curry was efficient too. Bucks aren't winning when they guess how many points they scored in the fourth quarter of that game. They scored 9 points in the fourth quarter. It's like when the Bucks played Charlotte and we're allowing like 9 points a quarter. It was a little bit more, but it was incredible. The Bucks offense just shriveled. Again, that was a tough game. You did not expect them to win, but that was frustrating. When LeBron James gets ruled out on a Friday night game where the Bucks have historically played well at the Crypto.com arena, you expect a win in that game. You did not get a win. It was frustrating. That was a game. They have a shot to win. Dame has it. Spencer Dinwiddie blocks him and then kicks the ball out. Okay, I'm kidding. I mean, it should have been a kickball violation, but it would have put 0.03 on. They're not winning the game. That was not the problem. I just saw Bucks fans complaining about it. Yeah, it was probably a kickball violation. It looked like he intentionally kicked the basketball, but at the same time, Bucks would have needed to put 0.3, doing something with that, really. No, come on. Pat Connaughton, who he's not the player of the week. I know. I wanted to showcase someone new. Pat Connaughton was the guy, especially in this game. 6 for 7, he was 4 for 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, played 31 minutes off the bench. He's giving you almost starter minutes off the bench. He's played a really nice role with this team. I was very pleased with this game amongst others this season. They really lose this game because of D'Angelo Russell. It's the Bucks not being able to guard guards. 44 points for Russell, 17 of 25 shooting, 9 for 12 from 3. Austin Reeves, 7 for 12 with 18 points. They accounted for 62 of the Lakers' 123 points. You're not going to win when you let two guards specifically, account for that many points. Just not going to happen. They outshot them from 3. In terms of they were 47% from 3. They made the same amount of threes as the Bucks, but shot 7 less attempts. You're going to probably win the game when that happens. Giannis did play well again, but just disappointing loss. Again, that end was tough. A Dame isolation. You're fine with the call. I think you're fine with that. There were some skeptics of, was that okay that happened? Yeah, it was. Come on. It was fine. Dame in isolation to win a game. Yeah, we're fine with that. I get that you have Giannis too. Sure, you want some action in that too, but I'm fine with it. Sure, moving forward, they might do something with Giannis and Dame together, but I think the idea was you wanted to keep the ball in Dame's hands. You feel more confident with it in his hands to win a game than Giannis. That's fine. I don't know. This game here on Sunday, this was a game to start it. It was like, okay, right, Dame or Kawhi and Paul George are out. What is going on? Right. We have Ivica Zubac, who usually the Bucks destroy when he's under the basket. He shot 9 for 11 from the field. That was something. But yeah, it was the guards. It was a balanced attack. It was Norman Powell. Again, former Buck Norman Powell just seems to, whenever he plays the Bucks, whether he's with the Clippers as he is now, or when he was with Toronto, just destroyed the Bucks. 26 points for him, 7 rebounds. He did shoot 3 for 14 from 3, so that's fine. But yeah, they didn't really shoot well as a team. So again, credit the Milwaukee Bucks on that. They shot 30% from 3. They still put up 117 points though, so that's still not ideal. But the Bucks shot lights out from 3 today. Damian Lillard, again, your player of the week, 7 for 13 from 3, 35 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Again, I've highlighted this with Damian Lillard. Ever since Doc Rivers has taken over, Dame's assist numbers have gone up. Dame is being more used as Dame. I think the biggest thing we've seen. Obviously, the defense is the big thing, but I think the impact from Damian Lillard has gone up since we've gotten Doc Rivers. I think that's a credit to Doc Rivers knowing how to coach veteran players, also star players to that matter. Like how Chris Paul was coached there in Los Angeles when Doc was there. But nonetheless, great game for him. Giannis played well again. Plus 19, plus minus for Giannis, 34 points. He had 10 assists, 7 rebounds. You just like to see that from Giannis. I want to credit Dame to 11 assists to 1 turnover. Just that's awesome. That's huge impact. Actually, 2 turnovers. My bad. 11 to 2. That's still great nonetheless. With how much the ball's been in his hand too. Just happy to see that. Bench didn't have the same impact today. Actually, bench wasn't that great. Bench only scored 24 points, but you still got an impact from Bobby. Was put up 11 points. That's fine. Bobby had a big game last Monday. That was fun. Bobby closing that too with Dame. Giannis not playing in that game, unfortunately, but you had Bobby just shooting threes at the end. Just crazy atmosphere in Milwaukee. It was really cool to see. Malik Beasley, though, this was a game. If I told you that in his 39 minutes, he led the team with a plus 20 plus minus, I think you'd look at me like, wow, him? And I'm like, yeah, him. 17 points, 6 for 11 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, 4 rebounds. Again, he's a guy who just makes the right plays. He plays his role. And that's just been really nice. In 39 minutes, having a plus 20 plus minus in a game you win by 7 speaks a lot to how well he's performed and how much of an asset he's been to the rotation. Simply that. So overall, it moves the Bucks to 17 and 16 now on the road, 42 and 23 overall. Let's go look at the NBA standings. Let's look where the Bucks are at. Right, Bucks now with that win, they are. Really? They're technically, I think Cleveland still has to play today, though. Let me look. Cleveland still has a game here at 6 p.m. against the Nets. We'll see if they win that one. I bring that up because right now the Bucks are 0.005 in terms of win percentage behind the Cleveland Cavaliers for the second spot. So they're basically right there. And what we're seeing is Cleveland's at 41-22. 41-22. Milwaukee's at 42-23. And how that's happened has been, I don't have the stat here. Cleveland has just dismantled teams under 500. The Bucks haven't necessarily struggled against those teams, but we know. Think about the games that they've struggled against under 500. There's been a couple. There's been that Portland loss, right? That one's of note. Remember when they struggled against San Antonio? They almost lost that game. That's one to note. Other teams they lost to Toronto early in the year. They've lost to Atlanta, like things like that. Like they've gotten picked up. They lost to Utah twice. They lost to Houston, right? They've lost to Memphis. So like they've lost to a good chunk of teams under 500 where Boston, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, these teams who have that record have actually feasted on those teams. Where the Bucks stand out is they've actually had a great record against teams over 500. I try to pull up the numbers. I can't get them up here. But I mean, like, let's just walk through it this week even, right? They beat the Clippers twice, right? Clippers are 41-22. They just handed them 2 of their 22 losses in a span of a week. Credit the Bucks on that, right? That was 2 great games played. My point is the Central Division for the first time in 4 or 5 years. Not like we care about divisions, do we? No, we don't. The Bucks are right there. They are right there in like this is the first time we've actually had a shot at another team winning it. It feels in a while. And we're through 65 games, so we got like 17, 18 games to go. So there's still hope to win it. It's going to come down to the road, come down to the end to see who is the team to win the East, or at least not really. Boston's going to be the number 1 seed in the East. Who's winning the Central Division? So we'll monitor that. I also find it interesting too. The Bucks have like per their division records too, just to see how they performed. They're actually pretty well spread out across the board. They're 10-7 against the Central Division, which is interesting to see. But they've overall played a lot better than against the East. Of course, more games, but they're 13-10 against the West. Again, the West is definitely the tougher conference, considering right? The Bucks have Washington, Charlotte, and Detroit all in theirs, while it's just San Antonio and Portland, who I would say are a step or two above those two squads. So that's just something to note. Bucks, though, they got through that West Coast trip to an extent. They got one more game with it, so not all the way done with it. They got to go to Sacramento, play them there. That's going to be a tough one. That's on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Last 9 p.m. game for a while. Thank you. That's the last 9 p.m. game of the season. Wow, that's exciting. That deserves probably, if I can get my sound effects up, that probably deserves a clap. No more having to play there. Or West Coast, those are brutal, right? 9 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I got an 8:30 class. That doesn't work. That's not fun. um, anyways, yeah, Sacramento Tuesday night, 9 p.m. at Sacramento, mind you. Thursday, hosting Philly. Still Joel Embiid-less, I envision. That should be a win. Sunday, hosting Phoenix on ABC at noon. Gonna be a tough one. Bucks at home, though, seem to be a safe bet. I think they'll win that. The scary part of the schedule comes when you have at Boston next Wednesday. You have 2 days off, though. We'll get to that. Wednesday, March 20th. You play Boston on a Wednesday night, 6:30. We're starting to get to March Madness too, so I'm excited for that part. But yeah, this is the NBA. That's the NBA talk here for this week. Not many games left, against 17, 18 games or so. Bucks probably are not going to get that 1 seed. I mean, we can imagine they're not going to get it. The goal is to be a 2 or 3 seed. I'm happy with either of those. And that's all the Bucks need. 2 or 3 seed, and that will do it. So that's not what the Bucks talk. I'm going to briefly talk Brewers, not a whole lot other than the Devin Williams situation. Some issue with his back. I envision it'll be okay. Just some soreness and tightness, it sounded like, but just I don't know if we're going to see him again this spring, is the whole thing. Wade Miley, I have some concern with too. I don't know his status. Basically, the rotation and the pitching staff is up in the air right now, and we knew that. The Brewers desperately probably need to bring in one more guy. I mean, they bring in Jacob Junis, which I appreciate, but that's not going to do it for me. Because, again, I mean, there's some concerns with his ability for innings. Is it got to be only 120 innings he can give us? Can he give us more than that? I don't know. That's where I'm at with pitching. We did see Gary Sanchez make his debut this past week. First at bat, he did have a single. We saw Rhys Hoskins have a grand slam. I think those were the 2 notable hits of the spring so far. DL Hall pitched against the Athletics. Looked okay. Didn't really put up the best numbers. Allowed a couple runs in a couple of innings, so it was pretty much okay. I do think we're going to see more from him moving forward, though. I think just getting him worked out to be a starter. Otherwise, yeah, the catcher situation with this squad right now is just so interesting. They have 4 catchers: Gary Sanchez, Jefferson Cuero, Eric Haas, and then William Contreras. Contreras, we know, is a star. Haas is a solid role player who I believe will probably have a shot on this team to make the club as a depth piece. Again, can play corner outfield spots. Jefferson Cuero has been a top prospect with the team. He's played well this spring too, I feel. I've liked what I've seen. Gary Sanchez is a lock for the roster. They gave him the money. He's going to be playing. That kind of depth. It's almost you have a surplus at catcher. You never want to come in with that mindset, I feel. The Brewers especially have gotten burned by that in the past, having to bring in guys who maybe they shouldn't have had to use, like Luke Maley, as a note. Eric Kratz was fun to have, but right, so it was Eric Kratz. So just something to think about. The big story too has been this last 2 days. Of course, the reports come out. It's with LA. Willy Adames, what is his role going to be with this club moving forward? Brewers have been committed to him. They've said he's our guy. Of course, Los Angeles comes out now, this just a couple days ago, and says, hey, their plan at shortstop kind of backfired as Gavin Lux has not played well at short. It's the guy they've had there. Wisconsin native Gavin Lux. The plan now has been more of how can we fix their spot short. They're going to put Mookie Betts there, who we know is a star. But now reporters are coming out. I don't know if this is speculation. I would believe it's speculation. But they're saying there might be more interest here with Willy Adames now to Los Angeles. So I don't know what we're looking at with that, but I like the spot. I like our outfield spot. I think we're good there. Infield's decent. Some concerns on third base. Probably will be Joey Ortiz getting the job to start the year. But I wonder with short what the plan's going to be, right? So Tyler Black's in there, Bryce Terang. I just have some question marks on these guys, what we're going to do. Bullpen, I still feel good about, even with Williams' status. I hope everything's okay with Williams, but I still feel good about the team and the guys we have in the back end of the pen. But then rotation. DL Hall's got to step up. Jansen Junk's got to step up, right? We need Miley healthy. Freddie Peralta got bombed this past week in the game he played. He got lit up, but I still believe he'll be fine. So Rhys Hoskins also will be the nice piece to have. Basically, Brewers 7-9 right now in spring training. Whatever, it's developmental. Concerns still remain. What we thought in spring, we're seeing it right now. Back end of the rotation, and then we're seeing third base, shortstop, second. What's going to be moving forward? Obviously, Adames is a safe bet, but second and third, what are we going to see? How is this catcher depth going to play out? We're watching. We're monitoring. We'll hopefully see more this week. Brewers are on Bally Sports. One game this week, I believe. It is this Friday at 3:10 Central. We will see them on there. They do play the Cubs this week. That will not be on TV. I'm sad. 8:05 on Tuesday. Late game. Otherwise, that's all I have this week. I hope you all have a great week here. Right, we have an extra hour of sunlight. Go enjoy it. I'll be back Wednesday at 9 p.m. for Journey to a Million after dark. Do I say? I believe that's what they call the Bucks games. Bucks after dark. Would they give them that weird 9 p.m. time? Yeah, something like that. But again, have a great week. Thank you all for listening here to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.